In a small village deep in the mountains, there was a boy named Minh. Minh lived with his grandparents in a small wooden house, where life was always connected to nature. Minh's grandparents loved animals very much, and from a young age Minh was taught that every living thing had its own soul and value. One winter day, when snow covered everything, Minh decided to go deep into the forest to look for dry firewood. It was freezing cold, but Minh was not afraid because he was used to this harsh weather. Going deep into the forest, he suddenly heard a strange noise. Coming closer, Minh discovered a young wolfling shivering in the snow. It was injured, blood seeping red on the white snow. Minh knew that wolves were dangerous animals, but when he saw the wolf's painful eyes, he could not leave it alone. He decided to bring it home. On the way back, Minh tried to keep the wolf warm by hugging it tightly. When Minh returned home, his grandparents were surprised but did not stop him. They helped Minh heal the wolf's wounds and take care of it. Chapter 2, Friendship blossoms. After many weeks of care, the wolf gradually recovered. Minh called it Fire because its bright red fur was like a warm fire in the cold winter. At first, Fire was afraid and wary, but gradually, it began to trust Minh. The two became close, and every day Minh spent time taking care of and playing with Fire. The relationship between Minh and Fire became so special that Minh felt like he had a real friend, not just an animal. Fire always followed Minh whenever he went into the forest, and it seemed that it also knew how to protect Minh from potential dangers. Once, when Minh got lost in the deep forest during a snowstorm, it was Fire that guided him back home safely. From then on, Minh and Fire became inseparable. Minh knew that Fire was not just a wolf, but also a companion, a part of his family. Chapter 3, The Trial, but life is not always peaceful. One day, a group of hunters from another village came and decided to hunt wolves for their fur. When they discovered Fire, they thought it was a dangerous wild wolf and wanted to capture it. Minh tried to explain that Fire was his friend, that it meant no harm, but they did not believe him. In a tense confrontation, Fire protected Minh from the hunters, but it was badly injured. Minh, in desperation, begged the hunters to leave Fire with him. He promised to take it back to the forest, away from humans, so that it would never cause trouble again. The hunters finally agreed, but on the condition that Minh immediately take Fire away from the village. With a heart full of sorrow, Minh knew that this was the only way to protect his friend. Chapter 4, Thay farewell. Minh and Fire went deep into the forest, where humans rarely set foot. When they reached a dense forest, where there was a clear stream and abundant food, Minh stopped. He sat down next to Fire, tears rolling down his cheeks. Fire, I have to leave you here. I can't let you get hurt. You'll be safer here, Minh said, his voice shook. Fire looked at Minh, his eyes seeming to understand the difficult situation. It rubbed his head against Minh's hand as a final goodbye. Minh hugged Fire tightly one last time, then turned and walked away, not daring to look back. He knew that if he looked back, he wouldn't be able to leave. In the days that followed, Minh felt empty, but he knew that Fire was in a better place, where it belonged. Sometimes when he walked into the forest, he felt like there were eyes watching him from afar, and he knew it was Fire, always protecting him no matter how far away. Chapter 5, Reunion. Many years passed. Minh had now become a grown man. One day, when he returned to the forest where he had parted with Lua, he heard the echoing howls of wolves. Minh stood still, listening to the familiar sound that he had not heard for a long time. From within the forest, a figure appeared. It was Lua, now a grown wolf, strong and majestic. Minh could not believe his eyes when he saw his old friend. Lua walked towards Minh, her eyes still warm as ever. Minh bent down, gently stroking its thick, silky fur. No matter how many years passed, their friendship remained unchanged. From then on, Minh often visited Lua, and every time he came, Lua welcomed him like a close friend who had not seen him for a long time. Minh knew that no matter where life took them, the friendship between him and Lua would last forever, like the fire in their hearts, never extinguished. Chapter 6, Peaceful days. Since reuniting with Fire, Minh felt that each trip into the forest became more meaningful than ever. Every time he arrived, Fire was always waiting in the same place, his eyes shining with joy when he saw his old friend. Minh and Fire often walked through winding trails, through old forests and clear waterfalls. It seemed that there was no distance between them, and everything became peaceful, as if there had never been a separation. During the long days of wandering together, Minh realized that Fire had grown up and become the leader of a small wolf pack. Minh often saw Fire leading the pack to hunt, protecting the territory and taking care of the wolf cub. Even though Fire had a new family, it still held a special place in Minh's heart. This made Minh feel happy and proud of his friend. Chapter 7. The crisis. Peaceful life did not last forever. One day, a group of loggers appeared in the forest, cutting down trees and burning many areas for logging. This action not only destroyed the habitat of many animals but also threatened the safety of the wolves. Minh, with his love for nature and fire, decided to take action. He tried to convince the villagers and local authorities to stop the illegal logging, but all efforts seemed to be ineffective. The loggers were too strong and had no intention of stopping. With no other choice, Minh returned to the forest with his own plan. He decided to cooperate with Fire and the wolves to protect the forest from the loggers. Minh used his knowledge of the forest and the agility of the wolves to gradually create traps, luring the loggers into difficult to navigate areas, causing them to lose their way and be forced to leave the forest. The battle lasted for many days, but in the end, with the perseverance and courage of Minh and Lua, the group of loggers was finally defeated. The forest gradually returned to peace, and the wolves could live in safety once again. Chapter 8. The promise. After that event, Minh and Lua became closer than ever. Minh felt that his life was inseparably connected to this forest and the creatures in it. He decided to stay in the village, help protect the forest, and live a simple but meaningful life, close to nature. One evening, as the sun set, Minh sat by the stream with Lua. The last sunlight of the day shone on the water, reflecting brilliant colors. Minh looked into Lua's eyes, feeling the deep connection between them. Lua, I promise to protect this forest, to protect your family and all the creatures here, Minh said, his voice full of determination. Lua seemed to understand Minh's words. It gently rubbed its head against his hand, as if in agreement. In that moment, Minh felt that they were not only friends, but also teammates in the mission of protecting nature. Chapter 9. Legacy of friendship. Over the years, Minh became a respected forest guard in the community. Under his leadership, the village established a forest protection team, preventing external threats and preserving the biodiversity of the forest. Fire, now an old wolf, was still strong and experienced. He continued to lead his pack, keeping the forest safe. Although age had slowed him, Fire's spirit had not diminished. One day, as Minh and Fire sat together as they had so many times before, Minh realized that their time together was running out. But he was not sad, because he knew that the bond between them had created a lasting legacy, not only in this forest, but also in the hearts of future generations. Chapter 10. Separation and Reunion. Then the day came, the day when Fire, after a long sleep beside Minh, never woke up again. Minh was speechless. He just sat quietly beside his loyal friend, sadness filling his heart. He knew that this was natural, that Fire had lived a full and meaningful life. Minh buried Fire under a large tree in the forest, where the two had shared their best memories. He carved a simple stele, Fire loyal, brave and forever in my heart. Even though Fire was gone, Minh always felt its presence every time he entered the forest. He knew that somewhere, Fire's spirit was still watching over him and protecting him, just as they had done for so many years. And on moonlit nights, when the house of wolves echoed throughout the forest, Minh knew that it was Fire's call, reminding him of the eternal friendship they shared. That friendship is not simply between a human and a wolf, but also a symbol of the bond between man and nature, a bond that cannot be broken, no matter how much time passes. Chapter 11. Seeds of Love. After Fire passed away, Minh spent more time taking care of the forest and educating the village children about the importance of protecting nature. He told them about Fire, about the magical friendship between humans and wolves. These stories not only excited the children but also planted in their hearts the seeds of love and compassion for nature. The children often went into the forest with Minh, learning to recognize the plants, follow the tracks of animals and understand the role of each species in the ecosystem. Minh taught them how to live in harmony with nature, the way he had lived with Fire. He instilled in them respect for all living things, from the smallest birds to the wild wolves. Minh also created forest protection programs, encouraging the community to participate in preserving the living environment. His efforts not only helped protect the forest but also created a great change in the thinking and actions of the whole community. Chapter 12. The next generations. Many years passed, Minh became an old man with white hair, but his soul was still full of enthusiasm. The children he taught were now adults, and they continued Minh's work, becoming forest protectors and community leaders. The stories about fire became part of village legend, told and retold through many generations. Fire's name was not just the name of a wolf, but became a symbol of courage, loyalty and love for nature. One late afternoon, as the sunset cast a golden light over the forest, Minh felt his heart filled with pride. He sat on the doorstep of his house, looking out at the forest, remembering all that he had experienced with fire. A sense of peace and contentment filled his soul. He knew that he had lived a meaningful life, that his friendship with fire had left a priceless legacy. Chapter 13, Dream Encounter. One night, in his dream, Minh saw himself walking in the forest as usual. In front of him, a familiar figure appeared, running to his side. It was Fire with bright red fur, bright eyes and a friendly smile. Minh felt his heart lighten and filled with happiness. He bent down, stroked Fire's fur, feeling the warmth and familiarity. In the dream, they walked together through the forest paths, experiencing peaceful moments like the old days. Fire led Minh to a familiar place where he had buried it. But this time, Minh did not see a grave, but instead a large ancient tree, with green and sturdy foliage. Minh realized that it was the tree that grew from where Fire had rested, and it represented their eternal life and undying friendship. Chapter 14, The Last Message. As the dream faded, Minh heard Fire's voice, not in words, but in his mind. Thank you for loving, protecting, and always believing. Continue on your path, and know that I will always be with you in every wind, in every raindrop, and in every heart that loves nature. Minh woke up, feeling empowered and determined. He knew that, although Fire was no longer physically with him, its spirit was always present, and would forever be a guiding light for him and the next generations. Chapter 15, The Endless Legacy. In the last years of his life, Minh lived in the respect and love of the community. People considered him a hero who had devoted his life to protecting the forest and educating the younger generation. Minh often tells the story of fire, not only as a story of friendship, but also as a message of responsibility and love for the environment. When Minh passed away, the whole village held a solemn memorial ceremony. He was buried near the ancient tree where Fire rested, and a stone stele was erected with the inscription, Minh, Fire's friend, protector of the green forest. The forest that Minh and Fire once protected continues to be green and growing. Later generations continued their work, passing on the values of love for nature and respect for all living things. The story of Minh and Fire has become a legend, an indispensable part of the history of the village and the forest. For everyone, Minh and Fire never really leave, because their spirits live forever in the hearts of everyone, like a flame that never goes out, illuminating and guiding those who love and appreciate nature. Chapter 16, Eternity. Time passed, the world changed, but the forest still existed, green and full of life. The ancient trees still stood, witnessing the magical story of friendship between humans and wolves. Every time someone visited the resting place of Minh and Lua, they felt a warm aura, as if Minh and Lua were still watching over them from a faraway place, protecting and blessing the forest they once loved. The bond between Minh and Lua, between humans and nature, remained forever strong, unbreakable, and their story continued to be told from generation to generation, conveying the message of compassion, loyalty, and the importance of protecting the living environment for all creatures. And so, the friendship between Minh and Lua lived forever, not only in the stories told, but also in every tree, every breeze, and every loving heart. Chapter 17, Descendants of Fire. Many years after Minh passed away, the forest that Minh and Fire once protected became a famous nature reserve. People from all over came here to enjoy the wild and mysterious beauty of the forest. Researchers also came here to learn about the special biodiversity of this area. While exploring the forest, a young researcher named Lang discovered something strange. Deep in the forest, where few people set foot, she encountered a pack of wolves. What was special was that the leader of this pack had bright red fur, exactly like the Fire in the legend she had heard. Lang, who loved nature and animals, decided to spend time researching this pack of wolves. She realized that the red leader wolf was not only strong but also very intelligent, knowing how to lead the pack through the harsh challenges of the deep forest. It seemed to possess a special wisdom and courage, different from other wolves. One day, while watching the wolf pack from afar, Lang realized that the leader wolf had discovered her presence. Instead of running away or showing fear, it approached, its eyes sharp but also full of calm and understanding. Lang felt a special connection, just like the way Minh felt with fire. In the following days, Lang often met this red wolf again. It seemed that it had also accepted her presence in the forest. Lang was no longer just a researcher, but she began to feel like she was a part of this legendary story. She knew that this red wolf was the descendant of fire, the living proof of the eternal friendship between Minh and fire. Chapter 18. New mission. Lang decided not only to research but also to protect this wolf pack. She understood that their existence was not only a part of nature but also a symbol of the values that Minh and Lua had left behind. She began working with conservation organizations, lobbying the government and local communities to protect the wolves as well as the entire forest. Thanks to Lang's efforts and the support of the community, the forest was more strictly protected, avoiding the risk of exploitation and encroachment. Lang also helped spread the story of Minh and Lua to the whole world, making people aware of the importance of protecting nature and wild animals. Under Lang's care, the wolf pack grew stronger and stronger. The red wolf leader became a living symbol, a new legend in the hearts of visitors to the reserve. It was not only a wild wolf, but also the descendant of a special friendship that transcended time and space. Chapter 19. New friends. One day, while Lang was observing the wolves, she noticed something strange. The red wolf leader led his pack to a new area where a group of people were setting up camp to study the forest's ecosystem. At first, the researchers were worried when they saw the wolves approaching, but then they realized that the red wolf had no intention of attacking. Lang, understanding the wolf's intentions, went to explain to the researchers that wolves were not dangerous if they were respected and not harmed. She told them about Minh, about fire, and about the special bond she felt with the red wolf. The researchers were fascinated by the story and decided to work together with Lang to protect the wolves and the forest. From then on, Lang and the research group worked closely together, sharing knowledge and experience to maintain the ecological balance in the forest. The pack of wolves gradually became accustomed to the presence of humans, no longer afraid but living in harmony in the common environment. Chapter 20. Eternal friendship. As time passed, Lang felt that she was not only a researcher, but also a guardian of the story of Minh and Lua, a story of loyalty and friendship that transcends time. She realized that the connection between humans and nature not only existed in the past, but it was also alive in the present and would continue in the future. Every time she saw the red wolf leader leading the pack through the forest trails, Lang remembered Minh and Lua. She understood that the friendship between humans and nature was not just a myth, but also a sacred mission that she and the forest protectors continued to carry out. The story of Minh and Lua never ended. It was passed down from generation to generation, from hearts that loved nature to those who were looking for a deep connection with the world around them. And in every wind, every wolf howl echoing in the night, everyone knows that Minh and Hoa are still there, protecting and lighting the way for all those who know how to appreciate and love nature. Chapter 21. Eternal moments. As time passed, the forest became greener and more fertile. The story of Minh and Lua was told not only in the small village, but also became famous everywhere, becoming a source of inspiration for many people to come and learn and protect nature. One day, Lang decided to hold a ceremony to commemorate Minh and Lua. The ceremony took place under the ancient tree where Minh and Lua once rested. Many people came to attend, including researchers, villagers, and the children Lang had taught. As the sun began to set, Lang stood up, her eyes glistening with tears, but her face filled with peace. She told the story of Minh and Lua once again, about the eternal friendship between humans and wolves. She spoke of sacrifice and loyalty, of the meaning of living in harmony with nature, and of the importance of preserving those precious values. Everyone fell silent, emotions surging within them as they listened to this story. Under the red sunset, in the quiet space of the old forest, they felt the presence of Minh and Lua, as if the two friends had never really left. When night fell, everyone lit candles and placed them around the base of the ancient tree. The warm light spread, creating a shimmering circle of light in the darkness of the forest. At that moment, Lang felt a gentle breeze blowing through, carrying the whispers of the forest and the distant howl of a wolf. Lang's eyes blurred, but her heart was filled with emotion. She knew that Minh and fire were still watching them, that their eternal friendship was still alive in every breath of the forest. She whispered to herself, Minh, fire, thank you for showing me what true friendship is, what it means to love nature from the bottom of my heart. I will continue your story, will protect this forest, and will pass on this love to future generations. And then when everyone left, leaving the ancient tree with the candles still flickering, Lang stood there alone, silently. She looked up at the starry sky, and for a moment, she saw the two brightest stars like fire's eyes, sparkling in the night. Lang smiled, tears streaming down her cheeks, but her heart was filled with happiness. She knew that the story had come full circle. The friendship between Minh and fire has not only been their own story, but has become a part of those who love and protect nature. In the silence of the forest, the gentle wind blew like a greeting from a faraway place. And then a wolf howl rang out, strong, full of life, the call of fire, the call of eternal friendship. The forest returned to its peace, but in the hearts of Lang and all who heard this story, the flame of friendship will forever burn, never extinguish. The end. The story of me and the wolf. Come here, it's over. See you again in the next videos. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell to follow well.